Welcome back on deynonmod. Today I want to propose you a video about the unbox review about the White Dwarf issue 522 released by the Game Social for March 2026. We can start from this amazing cover that it's related about the Huron Blackhaired, master of the Red Corsairs, and it's related being the same cover that we can find in the second part of the campaign for the end of the 10th edition of Warhammer 40k, the Maelstrom, so amazing one. So, before to start to see everything, please, you start to shipping this better, okay? Because we can find that it's one of the best that I found in my store. You can see these damages here, okay? Also, here, this one, okay? It's a problem that there is such thing. Here, ruined like this, okay? I can understand something like this eventually, like these ones, but these pieces other, it's not good that there are in such way. So, please, ship them better because they are anyway expensive this way off, so at least some a bit better about okay. So let's start to see about the inserts. So we can start to see about here the schedule that has been added. Here we have about the Idoneth Deepkin for the Darkwater. So it's really quite interesting because they are spending quite a lot about this new game. Okay, it's not bad at all. Here again. And here we have the schedules about a new mission for Warhammer 40k and one for Age of Sigmar. For Age of Sigmar, as usual, it's a old one, so these come from the 2022. And I love such thing because it reminds you that you can have quite a lot of fun. Because you can use the old missions and readapt to the new edition, so it's really quite nice. And here we had the alternative cover of the White Dwarf, that is the same that we've seen at the beginning, so it's the same one that we have here, but without any writing. And here, interesting thing, because here we can see the last cover, okay? Because we had the last White Dwarf here, okay, but we go to see the alternative code that it was presented, it was a different one, because if you go to open this one, we can see that there was this one instead of this. So okay, they messed up a bit, maybe they chosen the wrong one, okay, so strange, but we take note eventually. It's something that you can anyway have fun about. Anyway, remember that to have these ones you can save quite a lot of money because it's a subscription, and have an alternative version, so it's not bad at all. So now it's time to start to see about the contents for this White Dwarf. So here had the introduction about the White Dwarf. Here we had the contents about the White Dwarf that are quite a lot. We can flip and we can find that this will be for the part about Warhammer 40k a lot related about the one that are the theme of the cover itself, so the Maelstrom. And so we had this one, and it's quite intriguing because it's a way that even if you missed for some reason the campaign, the Maelstrom, the part about the books that has been released, with this you have a bit of background related, so I quite appreciate it sincerely, because here we can find what it's about the one for the Red Corsairs, so the various characters that are, and sincerely it's really quite interesting because it's a really great description, okay, you can understand them much better, you can have an idea of what they are, because for example there are some ones that even myself have not known a lot about, so it's really quite intriguing to know them much better in some way, so it's not a problem. And then we had this that it's about the Wars of Badab, so the rise and the fall of what it was called the Astral Cross, and then it became the Red Corsairs. So it's really quite intriguing to see the revolution, the story, and it's really quite interesting. It's a background that it's always quite nice, okay, because it allows you to really go deep about inside here. Here we have discovered that it's always an easy one, it's fantastic. Then we can go to see about the story about Huron Blackhaired, and we can find that it was released since the part about the first, okay, edition of Warhammer 40k, so Rock Trader, so not bad at all. And we arrived to here now, so we can find all the progression that there has been, and it's really quite intriguing. Here are also the part about the Breaker Library, about the novels and so on. So quite a lot to read. I'm quite curious to see if they make maybe a sort of omnibus about Huron Blackhaired, so that you can have all together. Okay, it will be nice. Here, all the data related about the Badab Wars, so that you can understand much better about the temporal parts, so not bad at all. As usual, the part about the images are always amazing. Then we have a part about the painting. So here we have about the Aeldari, but remember that you can use these techniques eventually for every model, so not a problem. But it's really quite nice to see about these ones. It's quite intriguing. And then we can find here a battle report we're using the boarding action, and it's again the Red Corsairs against the Aeldari. That are the two main themes related about this second part of the campaign. So not bad at all. And here we can see so the armies as they can proceed and so on. So it's okay, quite nice. I really love such type of images and so on. I think that it would be quite nice to create such boxes with the model inside eventually. It would be a way to present them in some way till you have to deploy them. And then we can find about the battle report itself. Sincerely, I don't like boarding action, okay, but I like the images, the ideas and so on, and they are a really good way maybe to understand how to create some dioramas on some maybe fighting that you can represent. It's really quite intriguing. So it's something that it's really quite intriguing one. And I had this that it's stated about an army gallery for the Aeldari, and in particular about the Sunblitz Brotherhood. So here it's really quite intriguing in some way, because they present you scheme of colors, ideas related, eventually some conversion and so on, so not bad at all. You can have maybe some idea that you want to use as a referral. So okay, Aeldari are not my best friend, but it's not a problem. Then we had this that is a prosecution of what we have seen about expanding an army. And here we see the second part of one that we've seen in this one, that it's the one that it's the White Dwarf issue 519 of December 2025. So it's really quite intriguing to see how it has been developed. And here we can see so continuation with new mission that you can use to expand and so on, not bad. And here then we have how the various races go through the warp. Sincerely, it's really quite interesting. In a past White Dwarf we've seen a little note about the house, but here you can see for all the races and the various systems that they use, so it's really quite fantastic. And I hope that in the future maybe GW will start to produce again some Battlefield Gothic, okay, because they made about the Tatus Astartes and the Legions Imperialis, so maybe something related about the battleships will be really quite amazing one. And then we move to Age of Sigmar with this, that it's simply fantastic, because it's related about the AoS Bonereapers, and it's a sort of novel, okay, it's a bit of tale, and it's about the city of Sigmar that conquer a city of the AoS Bonereapers in Shaiish, that it's Python. So it's really quite intriguing, because they describe how it has been done, and it's really quite intriguing, because the only other way that I've seen such a detail about a city of the AoS Bonereapers, it was here in the Virtual Lord, that I suggest you to read because it's amazing eventually from the Breaker Library. So it's really something intriguing. I love also the design and so on, because they are really fantastic. So here it's really a good way to understand how they deploy and so on with a small amount of forces. And here we can notice eventually what has happened to the ones that has conquered such city. And then we have this that, remember, okay, it's legend, so you can use this army of Renown, but at the same time not officially, technically not in tournament and so on. And if this Legends of Nagash it reminds you something, it's because here, second edition Battletome for the Death. So it's like this. It's the main character, it's literally Nagash. Okay, you have to deploy it, so not bad at all, because I had the model and I love to paint it, even if I needed quite a lot of years to decide effectively to put my hand on the model itself. And I made the video about it, fantastic. So here we can find how to play with it and so on. It's really quite intriguing, I quite like. Here, about this one, remember that are different from the rules that you have in the normal Battletome related, okay, so remember that this is not the same, it's a bit different one. And then we can find here that it's about the hobby and count, okay, but it's one important thing, it's about how you can film your armies with the same scheme of colors on, even if you have some variation about the various unit. And I think that it's really quite intriguing, because it's nice. Okay, they give you tons of colors that you can use or not, but what I like is the idea that give you, how they explain, how they choose something, and what they bring to make all the various units being together. Okay, it's really quite intriguing one. And I've had the City of Sigmar part 1 that it's about the heraldic, the scheme of colors for the various cities of Sigmar. This is part 1, so I hope that it will be maybe the next would have a part 2 or even a part 3, because it's really quite intriguing. I quite like, because you can see, for example, the various armors that it's banned by the city and so on, so it's really quite nice. And here you can see various forces that are related about the various cities of Sigmar, so it's something that it's really something to look for. I really quite like, because it allows you to have a really great idea about what can happen, what you can deploy, the scheme of colors. It's nice. They give you quite a lot of base, and there are always some amazing dioramas available. Okay, because it's always fantastic to representing them in such a way. I love such type of thing, because they can give you quite a lot of ideas, scheme of colors, idea about what to paint and so on, but not only, because you can have the themed, for example, the basing or so on, that are related about that specific city, so not bad. They've had what we've seen before about Warhammer Quest Darkwater, that are about the insert of the Idoneth Deepkin, so okay, we have them. Here we have the third part of the Chornicles of Bain for the Black Library. So remember that are novels here, and are complete one at the end if you have all of them. And if you think that you can have, for example, knowledge about an army that you don't usually use, an author that you are not known, or a complete system, you can be really kept and captured from this amazing narrative. It's really quite fantastic. So I suggest you to try about these ones, because they are always amazing to read. It's something that can be really quite intriguing, because anyway, if you buy the White Dwarf, this it's a way, as for myself, to have books without having to buy them, because you anyway bought the White Dwarf and you have this one, so not bad at all in my opinion, so really quite nice. Then I had the access granted, okay. And then we can start with the combination of what it was the mailing list and the part about the clubs and so on. And here we can find quite a lot of interesting parts, because we can find about modification. Here an amazing cake. I love to make Pokemon cakes, but sincerely I'm quite intrigued about preparing something later about Warhammer 40k too, so not bad at all. And really, it's something that it could be really quite intriguing. And it's interesting about also the genesis of Light Asparax you are intrigued about, because there are some information also about this one. And as usual, I suggest you to read, because you can find maybe some artwork that could be a suggestion, or some conversion that could be nice. So there are always something that you can have an idea to look for about these ones for your project or so on, that can be simple as a scheme of color, a basing, a little detail, but there is always something that you can use as a referral or as an idea to modify, then to absorb in your own option and so on. But it's really quite intriguing that way. It's something that it's really quite nice in my opinion. It's something that you should look for. And then we had this, that it's a sort of painting tournament for only the companions and the small creatures. So you can find that there are tons that has participated in this one, and the nuggets that it's always present. It's always an amazing one. And really, you can find a lot of ideas, and maybe you can also have some idea. For example, this one, remember that comes from the Camry, from the Dragon Bone of Carry. So it's not problem. Then we had the second part about the path to glory of the campaign related about the Warhammer Studio. Okay, so it's nice to see how they are going to advance, how they are playing and so on. It's really quite intriguing. Here, something that we see in the next White Dwarfs eventually. So it's nice to see what are playing about. And then we can find the schedules here, and finally the back cover. About this one, it's really, as usual, something that it's really quite nice, and it's referred about what we've seen inside here, because we had the board in action, okay, the battle report, with the Red Corsairs, and here the Aeldari, in representation about the Maelstrom itself. So it's not bad at all. So to say about such White Dwarf, sincerely I find it really quite interesting, because if you think we have a lot of background related about Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar, so the part about the Maelstrom, it allows you to have to buy related about the second part of the campaign that it's hard to find. And about Age of Sigmar, we had the part related about the AoS Reaper that has seen also in March 2026 release about the new Battletome about the AoS Reapers. So themed one, okay, I quite like. Moreover, there's been quite a lot of way to paint and convert about your armies, because there are really quite a bit of things related, so not bad at all. Okay, there is the battle report that I not appreciate quite a lot, but there are images that I can use as a referral for conversions also, not bad also that one. There are not things about the special games, okay, but sincerely I'm much more interested about the Warhammer 40k and the Age of Sigmar, so I'm quite good about this. And anyway, there is about Darkwater, for example, so not bad at all. There is also the part about board in action, how to expand to create a new army about Warhammer 40k step by step. So there are a lot of things inside, so I think that it's really quite nice. I quite appreciate. The Black Library is always welcome. So maybe not my favorite, but surely a way up that I appreciate quite a lot, and I'm quite curious to know about your idea about do you like, don't you like, do I prefer something else, because it's really quite intriguing about have a comment about what we are expecting from these magazines, so not bad at all. Anyway, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.